welcome back to Adorabuild. My name is Ruth and my little dog is called Pucky. And today I thought it would be really good fun to build up one of the new Disney Princess 2020 sets. So the set that we are building up today is Sleeping Beauty's Royal Carriage. So one of the reasons I was so excited about getting this set is because we haven't had a Sleeping Beauty set for a little while. I think the last time was a year or so ago when we got her beautiful little castle, but this is also the first time that we have had Sleeping Beauty in the ball gown piece. And I do absolutely love these ball gown skirts. I think that they look so gorgeous on the princesses. They may not necessarily be that entirely accurate in comparison to the movie, but I do think that there is a little bit of creative license and a little bit of artistic input into these sorts of sets and outfits. In this set, we also, of course, get a lovely little pet. And so we have this owl character, which is a new little owl that we haven't had before. And he's super cute. Look how cute he is. He's just gorgeous. And then we've given him his little red feather on top as well, which looks absolutely magnificent. So before we build up the carriage, we do get to build up this little side build, which is just like a little table of yummy treats, which seems to be sort of a popular thing that Lego does with the princesses. You know, they always give them a little table of food. So now we get to move on to the actual carriage itself. So adding in these magenta pieces to create that shape. Obviously it looks like we do have a lot of pink and gold going on with this build, to no one's surprise at all. And I guess it will be quite nice to be able to add a carriage to go with Aurora's castle. 2 of these grey parts and then 2 more of those pale pink parts with the clip. We flip that over and attach that to one end. Flip it back in there, and then we add in these sort of unusual little jumpers, which are 1x3s but with only 2 studs. So I'm assuming that's to actually be able to fit her ball gown into the carriage. And I think one of the flaws as to why a lot of people don't like the ball gown is because you can't really get the princess to sit properly, so she can only sort of stand in the ball gown, which I don't mind since most of my Lego is just for display. We add in those gorgeous gold twirly bits onto the back. I get to push those up. So that's just looking so pretty already. Trans pink panel pieces, and it's got a little bit of a glitter shift to it too. See how it's almost got like a lilac or a blue shift to it? I think they're new pieces. They might be new pieces, those panel pieces. That's awesome. Very pretty. On to the next axle. So we add these 2 parts in, which I'm assuming is like the little step up into the carriage. Of course, we add in the gorgeous gold wheels that are very common in a lot of the princess carriages. And the last little finishing touches, it appears, adding in these gold twirly bits to the front of the carriage. Lots of spare parts as well. So there we have the gorgeous little carriage. It does look super cute. I do actually quite like it. It is very simple, but then to be fair, this set is actually quite sort of affordable. It's not that expensive. So one of the things that I do actually find a little bit unusual about this carriage is that there is actually no way to move the carriage forward. So what I thought would be really fun would be to find a way where we could actually add in a horse so that we could actually have Aurora being drawn in a horse-drawn carriage. So let's get started and have a look at how I have made a few of the minor modifications to this set. Okay, so first thing was first, I did sort of disassemble the carriage back to this sort of point. So I have removed this section and the front wheels. I've also taken out the gold 1x2 plate with the bar on it, and this section as well. With this particular plate, this was actually taken from the tabletop, which ends up being quite handy. So fortunately, I did have one of these like bridle pieces, like horse connection pieces, already existing in my Lego collection. So in order to add this in, this particular plate does actually need to line up with these magenta ones. So initially I had hoped just to connect this through here as a really simple, sort of easy to make modification, but it did mean that that plate was too low and I was having issues with the wheels and the horse. So in order to actually make the connection at the right height, I just had to add that plate in, which I ended up doing slightly incorrect. So just with the one stud through there and the two connecting here. Then what we can do is add this section back in to make that even more secure. So like so. And then we can add the wheels back in order to make sure that it is nice and easy to sort of sit there and do what it's got to do. For me personally, I thought that it would be really nice to have a grey horse drawing the carriage. I know that the stereotype is for, you know, 6 white horses and all of that sort of stuff, is that usually the princesses have white horses, but I really liked the fact that we do have a little bit of grey on the castle, and so this was just like a really nice simple way in order to tie the carriage and the castle together into that same sort of colour story. Obviously we do need to add in the extra little 1x2 magenta plate, and then I have ended up using like the white little blanket saddle. My heart isn't completely set on that piece. I think it would actually look much prettier in that pale pink colour, but I didn't have any of these parts in the pale pink colour in my collection, so I've sort of had to make do. And then in order to secure this carriage part connection piece, the horse connection piece to the actual carriage, I've just overlapped that slightly, which I actually think looks okay, not only from the top but also from the sides, because most of that view is obstructed by these beautiful gold wheels. However, I do want to make sure that this row of studs here looks a lot nicer, so I've just been able to add in and colour match a few of the pale pink cheese slopes on top of a 1x1, and then I thought that it would just be a really nice way to merge the magenta through to the pale pink by using some of that dark pink colour there too. And of course I didn't want to change the look of the front of the carriage too much, so in order to maintain that view of the gold twirly bits along the front of the carriage, I just want to be able to connect in these curly bits to the studs on that front panel, like so. Add in the second one, again like so, and then that keeps that look consistent, just in a slightly different way. Then the other couple of things that I wanted to fix at the back was that I really didn't like the look of the owl sitting on top of one of those studs, because to me it just ended up looking like the carriage wasn't properly finished. So what I thought would be quite cute would be to add in a gold cylinder underneath the gold cone, and then that becomes like a little owl perch, which I thought was really cool looking. You can also see that I have changed out the owl feather to white rather than wet red. I thought that that just looked prettier, and I've also included a white plumage feather on the front of the horse as well, so that then they're sort of matching, and a magenta bow on the horse's tail. Then of course the last little things that occurred to me when looking at this was that this section looks unfinished, and so does that section, and so do these two studs here. And because I like the look of Aurora's bouquet so much, I thought it would be really pretty to add in more flowers to the carriage. So it might even be the fact that this carriage is like a springtime celebration, you know, something along those lines. They're celebrating the flower festival or something like that would be really cool. And so I thought that that was just a really nice and simple way to be able to add in more flowers to this build and sort of start to tie the carriage and the mini doll in together, so that once again they sort of look like they belong a bit better. So I hope that you have enjoyed seeing my simple modifications to this really pretty and wonderful build. I do think that the carriage looks so much nicer now that she has a horse to, you know, be able to move the carriage along. I think that it's starting to tie in with the castle a little bit more. I am hoping to make a few minor modifications to the castle as well to make sure that it really sort of starts to fit in better together. As always, I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. I do absolutely love making these for you guys. If you do enjoy my content, feel free to give it a like or a subscribe or comment down below and say hello. Until my next video, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!